Good morning, my dear children. Am I audible to you all? Am I audible, dear children, right now? Okay. Very good morning to all. Quickly, we'll look into the supplementary part and we'll move on to Unit 2. Let me share you the supplementary part right now. Okay. Dear children, any doubts until the poem? Any doubts with the poem part? No, envious neighbor is not there for cycle test, I guess. It's not added right now. So if it is needed, we might. So anyway, the portions you all will get it in your Google Classroom. So we'll act accordingly, right? Fine. Okay. Let's move on to the supplementary part. So always when it comes to supplementary, my dear children, we have to follow the pattern of the SSLC board exam. Okay. So grade 10's board exams pattern only we are going to follow. So when it comes to supplementary, we are only going to write a paragraph. Okay. So it can also be asked as a paragraph, or then you have already got the portions, right? It is not there, right? If it is not there means definitely it is not going to be there. Fine. You'll have to only plainly stick on with the portions which are given there. Fine. Okay, dear children. So when it comes to supplementary alone, we are going to only focus on the paragraph, right? Anyway, we have completed that. That's why we are discussing on the question bank of it, right? So look here, one question answers all the four questions. So see, the old farmer was a kind person. Justify the statement with suitable examples from the story. So this is what we are going to see. So title, as usual, we write it as the title of the supplementary. We are going to write it there. The envious neighbor. Theme is honesty is the best policy. So that is your theme right now. Okay, let's look into the supplement. The old farmer and his wife in the story are very kind and honest. Yes or no? The old farmer is very kind and honest along with his wife. Due to their kindness and honesty, God has gifted them enormous treasure through their beloved dog. Because of their kindness and honesty, God has provided gift. So always God cannot come, ask God and help you all, right? So always God will help through some human being or any other animal source. So here for them, it was a blessing in disguise. The dog has found them enormous treasure. Though they became rich, they used their wealth to help the needy and the poor. They did not keep all their riches with them. They, with the help of their richness which they have attained, they have helped all the poor and the needy people. And look at the textual quotation which is given here. The covetous and stingy old couple borrowed the dog. So this is what which happens now. The farmer knows that his neighbor was wicked, but still helped him by providing the dog. The farmer knows, no? The farmer knows that his neighbor is very wicked. He's a bad personality. But anyhow, he wanted to help him, so he helped him by providing the dog. Okay, he asked for the dog, and the good, honest old man has provided with it. But what did they do? They killed the dog for not exploring treasure further. They killed the dog for not finding the treasure further. Okay. The kind old man tolerated this act also. After this, did the kind old man get angry over the neighbor? Did he get angry, my dear children? Did he get angry or not? When the dog was killed by his neighbor, did he get angry? No, he did not get angry because he was very honest and very kind, right? Look at the textual quote too. The old man made a mortar out of the wood of the pine tree. So the dog was killed and buried. So under the pine tree. So what did the dog do? It asked to cut the pine tree and make a mortar, right? That's what exactly which is given here. Fine. The dead dog appeared in the dream of the old man and asked him to cut the pine tree, which the dog was buried, and asked him to make a mortar. So, what did the dog do? It came in the dream of that old man, the honest old man, and it asked him to cut the pine tree and make a mortar out of it. The mortar, when used to grind rice, provided more wealth. When they put rice to grind, all the rice changed into gold and silver. Hearing this, the neighbor borrowed it. In his house, pressure never came. They burned the mortar. So what did the neighbor do? He went and borrowed the mortar also, and he also put some rice to grind, but pressure never came. So what did they do? They became very angry and they burned the mortar. Then what happens here? The dog provided the power of using the ash to grow even an unfertile tree or plant. What did the dog do? It provided the power by using the ash. If they sprinkle the ash on an unfertile tree or a plant, the tree or a plant is going to sprout out with a lot of leaves. Okay. The kind old man became famous, and the prince provided him with wealth. So he became very famous. No, he sprinkled in the palace, no, on the dead tree, and the tree, the cherry tree, and the plum tree started growing. So he got a lot of, yes, obviously it is a summarization only, ma. Always the summary only we have write. Okay, so after this was done, the prince provided him with wealth. He provided him a lot of wealth, right? Silk cloth, all the precious gifts, everything. But when the wicked old man did so, he was in trouble and was beaten terribly. When the wicked old man tried doing this, what happened? The ash flew into the eyes and the ears of mouth of the prince, and he was beaten terribly. Right? This is what we have seen here. Hearing about the incident, the kind old man helped the wicked old man by setting him free with providing him a part of a treasure. After the honest old man came to know that his neighbor was beaten to death, literally he did not die because he went to that state and he crawled home. When he heard about it, he provided a part of his treasure to him and asked him to be a good gentleman. Okay. So these are some of the examples that justify that the old man is kind enough. So these are the points which makes us, which proves us that the old man was very kind enough. Okay. The moral is a greedy man is always poor. Okay. So this is how you have to write. This is the structure of your paragraph. Let it be asked as a hints development. Sometimes it will be asked as hints development, or sometimes it will be asked like a paragraph question. So we have to write it like this. Fine. Just go through it. I'll give you 2 minutes. Once you're done, please say yes, sir. So we will continue with the unit 2. Right? Go through it quickly. If you have any doubts, you may ask. I don't think this is very hard for you all because you'll know the entire story. But you'll have to be in touch. After getting your books, read it. Read all the lessons thoroughly. Definitely, you can write it in your own words, Srinija, without grammatical error. If you get grammatical error, you will lose marks accordingly, right? Any other doubts, dear children? Shall we move on to unit 2? Okay, fine. Anybody? Any doubts? So when I move on to unit 3, your doubts should be pertaining to unit 2 only. Sorry, unit 2, your doubt should be pertaining unit 2 only. When I start with unit 2, if you'll ask a doubt regarding that, so literally the class is going to get diverted. So please cooperate, my dear children. Okay. So let's move on to unit 2. So with this, our unit 1 is over. Let's focus on unit 2. Let me share my screen for you all right now. I hope the screen sharing is clear to you all, ma. Is it clearly visible? Okay. Thank you, Rahini. Thank you, Aditya, Darshan, Ashwin. Thank you all. Okay. Look at the warm-up exercise. I'll ask you certain questions. You just answer it. This is just for a fun. This is just to trigger your mind. So it doesn't have any responsibility in the question answer form. Okay. Now tell me in yes or no. Okay. Yes or no type. Have you ever tried swinging from a tree? So we all know what is a swing, right? Have you ever tied a swing on the tree and have you gone for a ride? It's a very beautiful expression. Literally, you will find a lot of happiness there. But please don't try this at home because when you climb on tree, literally there is a possibility of you falling down. So please don't try it. Okay. Now look at the second question. Have you ever climbed up a tree to pluck fruits? Have you ever climbed up a tree to pluck fruits? Ashwin has climbed. Very good. Justice has climbed. Okay. Raja Rishika. Okay, fine. Yadu. Childhood, you tried swinging Yadu, but still you are a child, you know. Okay, fine. It's also a wonderful, it's a wonderful feeling, my dear children. When we were very small, no, we used to climb the mango tree and pluck some mangoes. When we pluck and eat it, no, the delight is going to be doubled. So you get a very beautiful taste. And particularly when the tree is our house tree, it is going to be very adventurous also. A very beautiful thing, but this also I'm telling you all, don't try this at home. Don't try. See, my English asked me to climb one tree to pluck mangoes. So let me do it. Mummy, please give me permission. No? Mummy is going to whack you only. So please don't do that because literally you all might harm yourself. So that's very important, my dear children. Okay, the third question is not going to be pertaining to us. So, okay. Before we could start this, oh, we have thrown a stone on a mango tree to get mangoes. Okay. Srinija, but you have to be very careful. If the stone falls into the neighborhood and if it breaks the head of somebody, it's going to be very dangerous, ma. So be careful with it also. Okay. Now let's look at Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond is the writer of this prose. Okay. So he is an Anglo-Indian, I guess. See here, Ruskin Bond was born on 19th May 1934. Before the Indian independence, he was born. And he is an award-winning Indian author of British descent. He is an Anglo-Indian one. Basically, his father and mother were from Britain. So they settled down in India when India was colonized under British rule. So he was here and he has won many awards and he is much renowned for his role in promoting children's literature in India. He has written plenty of stories regarding children, okay, so which are enjoyed by children. The Indian Council for Children Education has recognized his role in the growth of children's literature in India. And see, Indian Council for Children Education, they have asked others to read the children's literature which was written by Ruskin Bond. He's such a great writer, my dear children. And see, he has won the Sahitya Academy Award, which is the highest award which is given for literature in India. In the year 1992, he has won it for his work called Our Trees Still Grow in Dera. So this is the name of the work. Okay, for this only he has won the Sahitya Academy Award in the year 1992. And he was awarded the Padma Shri in 1999 and Padma Bhushan in 2014. See, the one who got settled in India from England, his parents have come to India and they got settled here. And see, this man with his writing work, he has won Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan awards. These are the highest civilian awards which are given. So these are some of the highest civilian awards which are given here in India. Okay. He has written over 500 short stories. See, 500 short stories he has written, my dear children. Essays, not only short stories, but also essays and novels he has written. And his popular novel was The Blue Umbrella. The Blue Umbrella was one of his popular novels, and which it was made as a Hindi film. And it was made as a Hindi film, and that film was awarded the National Film Award for the best children's film in 2007. Dear children, he's such a great writer. He's a prolific, beautiful writer whom we have come across. Is that clear, my dear children? Shall we move on to the story? British descent means what? His father and mother belonged to the citizens of Britain, Great Britain. Before 1947, India was under the control of the British people, right? At that particular time, they were there. That's why he is known as British descent. Okay, let's move on to the story. Read the story given below. Find out why the author feels that he can't climb trees anymore. So look at the title, my dear children. It's very peculiar, right? I can't climb trees anymore. Who can say this? Until how many years you can be active, ma? You can climb over the wall, you can jump through it, you can go under the table. Until which age you can do all these monkey tricks? Was 60. My goodness, Ram Harish. I'm just 34, Ram Harish. I can't climb a wall. If I climb on the wall, I'm going to breathe like hell. Literally, I can't do it. 25 is the maximum, or 30. If you are very healthy, if you are very fit, my goodness, Yadu, at the age of 100, could you jump the ball? Definitely, you can't jump a wall at the age of 100. Your bone is going to break. That's what which is going to happen. At least 30 years, until 30 years, you can be fit enough to climb a wall, to go under the thing. Otherwise, you're going to become obese. Sometimes you might become fat. Sometimes your bone might become weak. Though you're lean, your bone will become weak. So that's also there. Okay, fine. So this author, he says, I can't climb the trees anymore. Okay. So we are going to see the reason why he can't climb the trees anymore. Okay. At the age of 3, I was doing a lot of wonders, right? At the age of 3, everybody of us will be like that only. Okay. Now let's start with the lesson. So stop chatting. So listen now. Okay. Yeah. Villagers, even at the age of 50, they climb the coconut trees and they pluck the coconuts. Some people are there, no? It's a rare case. Okay, let's focus on the lesson. He stood on the grass verge by the side of the road and looked over the garden wall at the house. It hadn't changed much. The old house, built with solid blocks of granite, wasn't altered at all. But there was a new outhouse, and there were fewer trees. He was glad to see that the jackfruit tree still stood at the wall at the side of the building, casting its shade on the wall. So, dear children, one person is standing on the grass verge. Grass verge. What is grass verge? On the edge of the grass. He is standing by the side of the road. So, it's literally like what? He is standing outside the building. So, there is a wall. Beneath that wall, there is a beautiful house. He is standing outside on the roof. Okay. And he is peeping into the house. He is literally looking into the house. And he says that it hadn't changed much. The house did not change much. He refers to the narrator here. Okay, the narrator, he is standing at the end of the road. Through the wall, he is looking into a house and he says that that house did not change much. Now tell me, who can tell the house did not change at all? One, it must be the person who has lived in that house, or it must be a person who has been living in the neighborhood, nearby houses when they were small. So possibly it is like the narrator is coming after a long years to that particular area. He is standing outside the house, which means the house is not belonging to him right now. Once it would have been his house, now it is not his own house. So that's why he is standing outside the wall. And look at the house. He is looking at the house, and the house was built with solid block of granite. The house was built with granite. So granite is one of the strongest of all the stones, right? And it is shining and it will be very strong. The basement of the building is going to be very strong there. Okay. Old houses. That's why old houses and all are still in existence. Is that clear, my dear children? So the old houses are still in existence because they were built very strong. Nowadays, the houses and all, see, after 2 years or 1 year, we can find cracks in the wall. So in those days, they weren't qualified engineers, but they were good builders. Okay. But there was a new outhouse. When he was living in that house, when the narrator was living in that house, there wasn't an outhouse. What is an outhouse, my dear children? A quarters which is built for the servant outside a house. So in those days, and all, you did not have houses next. Nearby houses weren't there. So what you're supposed to do? So you will rely upon servants. So the servants can't go outside and come daily. Okay, if you need them in urgent during night time, they can't travel and come. No, in those days you didn't have that much of transportation also. So what did the owners of the house do? They built a outhouse. Outhouse is a house, a small house which is built at the backside of the house within your land premise. So there was a new outhouse which was built there, and there were fewer trees, which means what? When the narrator was living there were plenty of trees. Now only few trees are available inside the house. And when he looked at one particular tree, he was very happy. What is the tree? What is the tree referred here? He was glad to see that the dash tree was still stood at the house. Right from his childhood, when he was small, a tree is available there. When he looked at the tree, he became very happy. That was the jackfruit tree. Okay, it was a jackfruit tree, and it renders shade towards on the wall. Okay, the shade of the tree fell on the wall. Okay, so that is there. Are you able to understand paragraph number 1, ma? So he is standing on the road at the edge of the grass. Verge of the grass means on the edge of the grass. He is looking into the house. The house is built up of granite, and only one change is there. There was an outhouse which was newly built. There were only few trees, and he was very happy to see the jackfruit tree, which stood there when he was small. Okay, fine. Let's move on to second paragraph. He remembered his grandmother saying, "A blessing rests in the house where the shadow of a tree falls." And so, the present owners must also be receiving the tree's blessings. At the spot where he stood, there had once been a turnstile, and as a boy, he would swing on it, going round and round until he was quite dizzy. Now, the turnstile was gone. The opening walled up. The tall hollyhocks grew on the other side of the wall. See, now he's comparing the house. He is remembering how the house looked when he was small. See, he remembered his grandmother, once his grandmother. Now the grandmother is not even alive. Now he himself is in his age of 40 plus when he was writing this story. So he remembered his grandmother saying, what did his grandmother say? A beautiful one saying, "A blessing rests on the house where the shadow of the tree falls." Which means what? If a house has a tree, definitely the house is blessed. Blessed means what? It's not like God blesses the house with a tree. So trees provide us a lot of things, right? It absorbs the carbon dioxide and it provides the oxygen. It gives you fruits. Oh, interesting, Ovia. Okay. It gives us fruits and flowers, and it gives us shade. It keeps our house cool always. These are the advantages of a house which has a tree. Now, plenty of houses doesn't have a tree, right? They don't rear a tree because they think that it is going to fill up the space. So they need empty space. So plenty of houses, what do? They cut off the trees. That's really bad, my dear children. If all the trees are cut off, means what is going to happen to the Mother Earth? Definitely it is going to lack oxygen very soon. Okay, so that is very important. That's why the grandmother has said, "Blessings rest on the house where the shadow of the tree falls." So that is the real meaning of it. And see, the present owners must also be blessed because they have the jackfruit tree and plenty of trees around inside their compound. So there are plenty of trees. So the narrator thinks, okay, the present owners must be blessed because they have a lot of tree. And the place where exactly that narrator is standing, no, there was a turnstile. I'll tell you all what is a turnstile. Literally, I'll try to show you what is a turnstile. Turnstile is a rotatory gate. So a gate will be there. It will be in round shape. You have to move inside that block and you can circle it and you will go to the other side. So these are considered to be the olden days gates. Okay. They didn't have any locks and all. In those days, the parks and all had the turnstile. What do children do? They stand on it, they go round and round and round. This was followed by the narrator. So he used to go round and round and round through that, and he will become dizzy. Dizzy means what? He will literally try to faint. So that's how it goes on. And there were tall holyoaks. I'll tell you what is holyoke. Okay, holyoke is nothing but holyoke is a tall Eurasian plant. So it's a plant. It's from a mallow family, and it has large showy flowers. So the wall side, no, it had tall holyoaks means the flowers were so beautiful. It decorated the wall. It was so beautiful to see the wall with the holyoaks. Okay, turnstile. Let me show the image if I have y'all. Let me show. Let me see if I have the image for you. Holyoaks. It's here. So this is the Holyoke plasma, which was surrounded in the house. Okay. So this is the Holyoke plasma. See, literally a wall is going to be very beautiful. Whether you paint it or not, it's going to be very beautiful. Have you all had a look at it now? Okay, let me show you a turnstile right now. So I told you, no, the poet used the turnstile to go round and round. So let me show you that. So this is a turnstile for you. Okay. So from one way to other, you will rotate and you have to go inside. Are you able to understand what is turnstile, dear children? Yeah, Rahini has played with the turnstile. That's interesting. Okay, fine. So he used to play there with the help of the turnstile. Okay, is that clear until the paragraph number 2, my dear children? Is there any doubts? So after this, we are going to see why he said, I can't climb trees anymore. Okay, we are going to see it in the next class. Thank you very much, my dear children. Have a great day.